an urgent debate for this plenary to express our solidarity with the victims of Emmanuel Macron's policies mass brutality. As you know very well, 15 people lost their eyes, 80 people had severe head injuries, and I suggest that the debate on Hungary should be deleted from the agenda, because these human rights violations that are going on in France are far more serious than the ones that are going on in Hungary. Thank you.
Sono i gruppi che chiedono un numero qualificato di parlamentari che può chiedere un dibattito, una modifica all'ordine del giorno. Se il suo gruppo o un numero qualificato di parlamentari chiederà di mettere l'argomento all'ordine del giorno, lo sottoporrò al voto dell'Aula e l'Aula deciderà se farlo o meno. Lo stesso discorso vale per la proposta dell'onorevole Kyenge. Onorevole Gomes.
Mr. President, I thank you for organizing the ceremony that we all, in which we all expressed our deep feelings for the Holocaust. I must nevertheless leave here my regret that an attack was made against the British Labour Party for anti-Semitism. I think this is outrageous. It's not doing right to all the people in the British Labour Party, all the members who are Jewish, who have fought against the Nazis, who died against the Nazis. And I'm very sorry that I did not hear a word about the Roma, the LGBT people who also perished in the Holocaust. Thank you.
Onorevole Gomes, le ricordo che le vittime dell'Olocausto o le persone, i survivors, sono liberi di dire ciò che ritengono, ma le ricordo che nel corso del mio intervento se mi fate parlare vi rispondo, se no va difficile. Nel corso del mio intervento ho ricordato che le vittime dell'Olocausto non erano soltanto cittadini europei di religione ebraica, ma c'erano anche Rom, Sinti ed omosessuali. Quindi questo è stato detto in maniera molto chiara nel mio intervento di apertura. Onorevole Anderson.
Thank you, Chair. I rise in defence of Rule 115, that Parliament shall ensure that its activities are conducted with the utmost transparency. And I am very surprised to learn that Mr. Weber's EPP is taking the unprecedented step of imposing secrecy on the vote on lobby transparency tomorrow. In a democracy, politicians do not make laws in secret. Citizens have a right to know how their representatives vote. Forcing the whole of Parliament to vote in secrecy on a political issue is not only ridiculous, it also undermines the citizens' confidence in European Parliament. Why? Is the EPP afraid to let voters know how their politicians vote? So I urge you, Mr. Weber, do the right thing and prevent your group from this blatant misuse of the rules to impose secrecy on a transparency vote. Do the right thing, if not, shame on you.
Bene. Un appello, non c'è nessun richiamo all'ordine del... Vi prego, quando ci sono dei richiami all'ordine del giorno, di fare richiami all'ordine del giorno. Il dibattito politico poi lo facciamo quando c'è il dibattito politico. Desidero informarvi che l'11 gennaio il Consiglio ha approvato il progetto di decisione relativo alla conclusione dell'accordo sul recesso del Regno Unito di Gran Bretagna e Irlanda del Nord dall'Unione Europea e dalla Comunità Europea dell'Energia Atomica. Di conseguenza il Parlamento ha ricevuto dal Consiglio una richiesta di approvazione di tale progetto di decisione. Il progetto di decisione relativo alla conclusione dell'accordo di recesso è trasmesso alla Commissione per gli affari costituzionali conformemente all'allegato 5 del regolamento del Parlamento. Onorevole González Pons, prego.
Sobre el orden del día.
Después. A seguito dell'elezione dell'onorevole Krišjānis Kariņš a primo ministro della Lettonia, il Parlamento, conformemente al regolamento, prende atto della vacanza del suo seggio a decorrere dal 23 gennaio 2019. Fa sempre piacere avere un rappresentante del nostro Parlamento che diventa primo ministro. Le autorità competenti della Lettonia mi hanno comunicato l'elezione del deputato del Parlamento europeo dell'onorevole Aleksejs Loskutovs in sostituzione dell'onorevole Kariņš con effetto dal 24 gennaio 2019. Do il benvenuto al nuovo collega e ricordo che siede con pieni diritti nel Parlamento e nei suoi organi alle condizioni previste dal regolamento. La Commissione giuridica ha proceduto alla verifica dei poteri degli onorevoli Boguslav Andrei Sonik, Ralph Paquet e Karlis Sadurskis e ha proposto di convalidare il mandato con effetto a partire rispettivamente dal 20, 22, 28 novembre 2018. Ci sono obiezioni in aula? Bene, i mandati sono così convalidati. Ho ricevuto dai gruppi PPE e FDD le seguenti richieste di nomina a modifica delle commissioni e delegazioni parlamentari. L'onorevole Aleksejs Loskutovs nella Commissione per l'Industria, la Ricerca e l'Energia, nella Commissione speciale sui reati finanziari, l'evasione fiscale e l'elusione fiscale, nella Delegazione per le relazioni con gli Stati Uniti. L'onorevole Nathan Gill al posto di Patrick O'Flynn nella Commissione per la pesca. Vi sono osservazioni? Bene, tali nomine sono considerate approvate. Diverse commissioni hanno deciso di avviare negoziati interistituzionali a norma dell'articolo 69 quater, paragrafo 1 del regolamento. Le relazioni che costituiscono i mandati per tali negoziati sono disponibili sulla pagina web della plenaria e i loro titoli saranno pubblicati nel processo verbale della seduta. Ai sensi dell'articolo 69 quater, paragrafo 2, un numero di deputati o uno o più gruppi politici pari almeno alla soglia media possono chiedere per iscritto entro la mezzanotte di domani, giovedì 31 gennaio, di porre in votazione la decisione sull'avvio dei negoziati. Qualora entro il termine suddetto non sia presentata una richiesta di votazione in aula, le commissioni potranno iniziare i negoziati. Informo altresì l'Aula che mercoledì firmerò insieme al Presidente del Consiglio un atto approvato nel quadro della procedura legislativa ordinaria conformemente all'articolo 78 del regolamento del Parlamento. Il titolo di tale atto sarà pubblicato nel processo verbale della presente seduta. Passiamo ora all'ordine dei lavori. Il progetto definitivo di ordine del giorno approvato dalla Conferenza dei Presidenti il 17 gennaio a norma dell'articolo 149 è stato distribuito. Onorevole González Pons, era per una modifica all'ordine del giorno?
Sí.
Prego.
Me gustaría, señor presidente, en primer lugar, comunicar a la Cámara que nos acompaña en la tribuna Francisco Sucre, que es el presidente del Comité de Asuntos Exteriores de la Asamblea de Venezuela y, por lo tanto, el número 2 del gobierno legítimo de ese país. También está en la tribuna de invitados Antonio Ledezma, que es el alcalde metropolitano de Caracas. Después de haberle escuchado su intervención en representación de este Parlamento, creo que no queda a esta Asamblea sino decidir celebrar hoy un debate sobre la situación política en Venezuela y votar una resolución.
Señor González Pons, pide un debate hoy y mañana la votación. ¿Hay diputados que quieren hablar en contra? ¿Nadie habla en contra? Bien, votamos. ¿Quién está en favor de la propuesta del señor González Pons? ¿Es del Partido Popular? ¿Quién está en contra? Ognuno è libero di votare come vuole, non è che... Chi si astiene? Astensiones? Bene, allora il dibattito sulla situazione in Venezuela è aggiunto nei dibattiti della giornata di oggi e domani si svolgerà la votazione. Prego, onorevole Lange, bitte schön.
Dear President, as chair of the International Trade Committee, I want to request the postponement of the debate on the US-EU trade relation. Just a few days ago, the Commission has presented a draft of a mandate for negotiations, and just today, the implementation of the trade relation was published. So the International Trade Committee thinks we should have time to have a profound and critical discussion about these documents and present a resolution to the plenary to have a position of the Parliament. The International Trade Committee is preparing a resolution, and therefore, for these reasons, we would like to postpone the debate with a Commission statement and an upwinding resolution in the March 1 plenary.
Onorevole Keller, vuole prendere la parola? Against? Of course, you have the floor.
Thank you. Well, the thing is that the Council has the Commission's draft of the negotiation mandate with the US right now on the table. So if this Parliament wants to have any say at all about what's being negotiated, then we have to make our position clear now. And we cannot wait for it later. Later on, we will not play any role, we will not have any say, and then we'll be again totally out of the procedure. And I'm very astonished because the S&D group so far has always been fighting very much for a formal involvement of the European Parliament. So I'm very astonished by this proposal, and I would like to ask colleagues to reject the postponement proposal, and let's rather talk about what's our position, what's our demands for the mandate, for the negotiation, and let's make sure the Parliament's voice will be heard in this. Thank you.
Grazie onorevole. Allora mettiamo in votazione per appello nominale la proposta dell'onorevole Lange a nome del gruppo SD per il rinvio alla successiva tornata della dichiarazione della Commissione sullo stato dei negoziati tra Stati Uniti e Unione. Il voto è aperto. Il voto è chiuso. La proposta è respinta. A seguito della mancata adozione di tale richiesta, i gruppi politici hanno convenuto che la dichiarazione della Commissione su questo argomento sia spostata come sesto punto dopo la dichiarazione del vicepresidente della Commissione Alto rappresentante su ultimi sviluppi nei rapporti tra Cina e Taiwan. La dichiarazione della Commissione su NAIADES 2, il programma d'azione a sostegno del trasporto sulle vie navigabili interne, sia rinviata a una tornata successiva. Vi sono obiezioni? Bene, allora tale modifica è approvata. Onorevole, relativa alla richiesta di modifica di giovedì della votazione sulle relazioni dell'onorevole Corbett, allora il gruppo di FDD ha chiesto che la votazione sulla relazione dell'onorevole Corbett sulle modifiche del regolamento del Parlamento sia rinviata a una tornata successiva. Inoltre il gruppo dei Verdi Alleanza Libera Europea ha chiesto che questa relazione, che è stata posta direttamente ai voti, sia rinviata alla tornata di febbraio con una discussione approfondita. Poiché la plenaria decide le modifiche all'ordine del giorno di questa tornata, metto, dopo aver ascoltato ovviamente gli interventi a favore e contro, la richiesta di rinviare il voto sulla relazione dell'onorevole Corbett. La possibilità di avere una discussione approfondita su questa relazione sarà comunque discussa nella prossima riunione della conferenza dei presidenti. Do ora la parola all'onorevole Fabio Massimo Castaldo per presentare la richiesta del suo gruppo.
Thank you, President, colleagues. Rule 227 provides that amendments to the rules of procedure are to be examined by the committee responsible, the Committee on Constitutional Affairs. This is a rule, but this is also a basic democratic principle. However, tomorrow we will vote 3 amendments to the Corbett report on the revision of the rules of procedure, which, although they are utmost significance, were never tabled nor discussed during the many meetings of the working group and the committee. S&D with Jo Leinen, EPP with Schöpflin and ALDE with Mr. Goerens require that the decision on the future existence of political groups be put into the hands of the absolute majority of the Parliament through a vote on their political affinity, on the basis of which parameter no parameter is established in this proposal. Is there, and this is a question, a political affinity between you, Mr. Schöpflin, and your group after it split up on the Sargentini report, which called for the activation of Article 7 against Hungary, led by your party? Just a little more than a quarter of your EPP colleagues voted in favour of your government. Should you already go with the non-attached? This is, I think, not a rhetorical question. And you, Mr. Leinen, apparently find elements of political affinity on the interpretation of the principles of democracy with the exponent of Fidesz that you were criticising so much in this plenary in other occasions. To do not speak about also ALDE, that many times showed us very different votes. Mr. Goerens, that until very recently was sitting beside members of his groups who collected signatures for Finland's exit from the euro, despite the pro-federal rhetoric. Democracy means, colleagues, first and foremost, granting opposition's rights. It can never turn into a tyranny of the majority. On behalf of the FDD group, I ask for the postponement of the vote on the Corbett report in line with Rule 149A. Thank you very much.
Onorevole Corbett, contro.
Thank you, Mr. President. That was all very interesting, but not entirely relevant to the procedural point that was moved, which was to shift the debate and presumably the vote, of course, on this report to a subsequent part session, on the ground that there hasn't been enough time to consider this report. I would remind the House that this report was drafted by a working group of the Constitutional Affairs Committee, a working group in which every group was represented. It then went to the AFCO committee as a whole. It has now come before the Parliament. It is subject to amendments in the usual way, as with previous rules reports, as indeed with most of our reports. There are amendments that come up and new compromises that emerge at the plenary stage. It was already postponed from December to January 1. It was postponed from January 1 to January 2. I wonder whether he's taking a leaf out of the book of Mrs. May about kicking the can down the road further and further and further until there is no time left to deal with it. Maybe that is what is intended by the EFDD group. In any case, I recommend Parliament do not follow that.
Onorevole Keller, prego.
Thank you. Just to clarify, our proposal is to have a full-fledged debate on the Corbett report. For us, it's not the point whether it's now or in February. We don't need to postpone it. What we want to do is debate it, because the Parliament should have a proper debate about what rules of procedure we're going to use, indeed for forming the groups. That is a matter that is of concern for all the groups. It's a serious matter. So we should have a proper debate about that and know what we're going to vote about, rather than just doing it in a couple of minutes. It has really serious implications, the whole report, on the formation of a group, about the question about what sort of lobbyism we will allow, whether we have learned from the Me Too movement. So this concerns really a lot of things, so we should have a proper debate, but that's our point of view. We can have a proper debate now, no problem, and we don't have to do it in February. We can do it in February, but now the question is simply, do we have a debate? That's our request, to have a full debate.
Allora, prima votiamo la proposta del gruppo FDD per appello nominale. Poi, se la proposta è approvata, se ne occuperà la conferenza dei presidenti. Se la proposta è respinta, se vuole, possiamo mettere a votazione la sua proposta, cioè avere un dibattito oltre al voto. Il voto per appello nominale sulla proposta dell'onorevole Castaldo a nome del gruppo FDD è aperta. Avete votato tutti? Bene, la votazione è chiusa. La proposta è respinta. Onorevole Keller, lei vuole ribadire la sua richiesta? Visto che si voterà.
Thank you. I would like to request that we have a full debate on the Corbett report than in this plenary session. Thanks.
Quindi oggi. Allora mettiamo ai voti la proposta del gruppo dei Verdi. Chi è a favore? Chi è contro? Chi si astiene? Mi pare che ci sia una maggioranza contro. Se volete facciamo un check. Facciamo un check, calma. Facciamo il check. Ho detto se volete fare vediamo un check. Avete votato tutti? La votazione è chiusa. La maggioranza è a favore, quindi inseriamo il dibattito prima del voto. Bene. A seguito delle consultazioni con i gruppi politici, desidero sottoporre all'Aula le seguenti proposte di modifica al progetto definitivo di... Onorevole Kyenge, mi faccia finire di parlare, poi le do la parola. Si sieda, ho visto, poi le do la parola. A seguito di consultazioni con i gruppi politici, desidero sottoporre all'Aula le seguenti proposte di modifica al progetto definitivo di ordine del giorno. Mercoledì una discussione sulle dichiarazioni del Consiglio e della Commissione sul recesso del Regno Unito dall'Unione Europea è aggiunta come primo punto all'ordine del giorno, seguito da un giro di interventi dei gruppi politici. La discussione congiunta sull'equilibrio di genere è spostata a giovedì come primo punto della mattinata. Giovedì la discussione congiunta sull'equilibrio di genere sarà il primo punto della mattinata. Seguirà una discussione con il primo ministro finlandese Juha Sipilä sul futuro dell'Europa dalle 10 alle 12. Le votazioni inizieranno alle ore 12. Inoltre sono aggiunti alle votazioni i seguenti punti. Relazione dell'onorevole Siekierski su norme sui pagamenti diretti e sul sostegno allo sviluppo rurale per gli anni 2019-2020. Obiezione a norma dell'articolo 106 sulla colza geneticamente modificata. Obiezione a norma dell'articolo 106 sul gran turco geneticamente modificato 5307. Obiezione a norma dell'articolo 106 sul gran turco geneticamente modificato MON 87403 e obiezione a norma dell'articolo 106 sul cotone geneticamente modificato GHB 614. Vi sono obiezioni? Onorevole Kyenge, prego.
Presidente, era proprio sulla modifica dell'ordine del giorno, perché da tanto che ho alzato la mia mano. Io ho fatto una richiesta ben precisa da parte del mio gruppo, quella di chiedere in questa sessione un dibattito sul caso della Sea-Watch, proprio perché questo dibattito lo dobbiamo riportare all'interno, cioè questo caso deve essere discusso all'interno dell'Aula parlamentare. Trattasi di un tema europeo, ma trattasi anche di un tema sulla violazione dei diritti fondamentali. Ho fatto questa precisa domanda e vorrei che fosse votata. Grazie.
Onorevole, dal suo gruppo, come previsto dal regolamento, non è arrivata nessuna richiesta di modifica dell'ordine del giorno che deve arrivare almeno un'ora prima. Per tutti gli altri gruppi questa richiesta è arrivata. Quindi non è arrivata a nome del gruppo una richiesta, per quello non l'ho messa a votazione, perché il regolamento prevede di essere fatta almeno un'ora prima della seduta. Non è mia responsabilità, non c'è stata richiesta da parte del gruppo su questo. L'ordine del giorno dei lavori è così fissato. L'ordine del giorno reca le dichiarazioni del Consiglio e della Commissione sul recesso del Regno Unito dall'Unione Europea. Ricordo agli onorevoli deputati che per questa discussione non è prevista la procedura catch the eye né saranno accettate domande cartellino blu. Primo intervento. È quello dell'onorevole Ciot a nome del Consiglio. Prego.
And honourable members, 2 weeks ago I recall the steps already taken on the Council side following the European Council endorsement of the agreement on the withdrawal of the UK from the EU and Euratom and approval of the political declaration setting out the framework for the future relationship between the EU and the UK last November. This was just after having learned the outcome of the meaningful vote in Westminster, an outcome we cannot but regret. We were all hoping that at least this would have been a wake-up call leading the UK government and the British Parliament to come out with a clear sense of direction and timing. From what I understand from yesterday's vote, this is not the case, and we face more rather than less uncertainty. What are the alternative arrangements PM May has now been instructed to negotiate with the EU? How can we reconcile the intention to discuss alternative arrangement with the clear EU position that the withdrawal agreement is the best possible compromise text achieved in the negotiations? I don't want to speculate on how the various options on the table will unfold, but this is clear that this state of affairs makes a disorderly exit of the UK more likely still, and its consequences more serious for all of us, but in particular for the UK. Economic operators are increasingly vocal about the impact of this uncertainty, not only in terms of direction, but also of timing on their activities, investment, and therefore jobs. It is also clear that this uncertainty and the tensions it leads to, a sectoral and national level, will further test our unity and resolve. It is therefore all the more necessary, on the one hand, to resist the temptation of bilateral deals and, on the other, to reflect our common purpose in the swift adoption of the necessary contingency measures. The responsibility for ensuring the UK ratification of the deal remains with the UK government. Our determination to proceed should, however, comfort the UK government in its effort to complete their part of the ratification process. In this respect, within the limits of our principles and positions, notably as regards citizens' rights and the Irish backstop, one should remain open to talks and clarifications if this can help the ratification process in the UK. While having been clear that a renegotiation of the agreement is not on the cards, we should therefore stand ready to act once the UK government will have clarified the next steps on its side. In the meantime, we continue the ratification process in the EU, which I understand is also moving on in the European Parliament as well. Given the uncertainty I mentioned before, both in terms of timing and content, we have to continue our preparations for all outcomes, including a no-deal scenario. The Council and the Member States at national level are therefore intensifying their work on preparedness and contingency, building on the solid work already underway. This means, of course, new legislative activities at this late stage of the legislature, but we are confident that by working together we can deliver. I am encouraged in this respect by the agreement already reached on a few Brexit-related proposals. The Presidency, with your cooperation, is determined to facilitate the adoption of the necessary contingency measures in good time. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Chiot. The next speaker is the President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker. You have the floor.
Mr. President, honourable members, in less than 60 days, the United Kingdom is due to leave the European Union. This is a bad decision. Listen. Even as the Commission has defended the interests of the European Union, the spirit of respect and friendship has accompanied us at every step in these negotiations. The withdrawal agreement and political declaration agreed by all 27 leaders and the United Kingdom government is the result of that. The withdrawal agreement remains the best and only deal possible. The European Union said so in November. We said so in December. We said so after the first meaningful vote in the Commons in January. The debate and votes in the House of Commons yesterday do not change that. The withdrawal agreement will not be renegotiated. Both sides have said loud and clear that there can be no return to a hard border on the island of Ireland. No slipping back into darker times past. I believe the Prime Minister's personal commitment on this point, but I believe also that we need a safety net that secures us against this risk. We have no incentive nor desire to use the safety net, but at the same time, no safety net can ever truly be safe if it can just be removed at any time. Sometimes, from time to time, I have the impression that some hope that the 26 other countries will abandon the backstop, and so Ireland at the last minute. But this is not a game, and neither is it a simple bilateral issue. It goes to the heart of what being a member of the European Union means. Ireland's border is Europe's border, and it is our Union's priority. Ladies and gentlemen, we know from yesterday's debate that the House of Commons is against many things. It is against a no-deal Brexit. It is against the backstop. But we still do not know what exactly the House of Commons is actually for. The concept of alternative arrangements is not new. It was discussed in the negotiations. It is referred to in the political declaration. And in our letter to Prime Minister May, Donald Tusk and I committed to explore it further as a matter of priority. But the concept is not a plan. It is not an operational solution. Many in the House of Commons, both amongst those who voted for and those who voted against the amendment, are aware of this. I will continue to be in close contact with Prime Minister May, for whom I have the greatest respect, and I will listen to her ideas. But I will also be extremely clear about the position of the European Union that I have presented today. Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs, laissez-moi vous dire clairement que le vote hier a accru le risque d'un retrait désordonné du Royaume-Uni. Nous devons continuer à tout faire pour nous préparer à tous les scénarios, y compris le pire. La Commission a commencé ses travaux préparatoires en décembre 2017 et ces dernières semaines, en étroite coopération avec votre Parlement, Monsieur le Président, nous avons accéléré nos préparations. J'ai envoyé une équipe dans chaque capitale pour aider les États membres à être prêts. Le Conseil européen a apporté son appui à ce travail depuis le début. Nous avons à ce jour publié 88 notifications montrant quelles sont les conséquences du Brexit dans différents domaines, ainsi que 18 propositions ou actes législatifs. Les 3 dernières propositions portant sur le programme Erasmus, la sécurité sociale et le budget de l'Union européenne ont été adoptées et présentées aujourd'hui. Je voudrais d'ores et déjà remercier tous les membres du Parlement qui sont concernés afin de garantir que nous parvenions à des accords rapides sur ces propositions et sur tous les dossiers urgents en attente. Il est plus que jamais important que l'Union européenne reste calme, unie, déterminée, ainsi qu'elle a été tout au long de ce processus. Dans ce travail, nous devons suivre une règle d'or. Nous ne devons pas reproduire les bénéfices de l'accord de retrait ou de la déclaration politique. Dear colleagues, I'm still an optimist by nature and a believer in democratic institutions by conviction. This leads me to believe that there can and will be agreement with the United Kingdom so that we can move on and move forward together with our new partnership. We will work day and night to make it happen and to ensure that we are ready in case it does not. Whichever way, I will always ensure that this House is the first to know and the last to decide. Thank you.
Avant de donner la parole à notre négociateur, M. Michel Barnier, je veux souligner, soit au président de la Commission européenne, soit à notre négociateur, que pour le Parlement européen, quoi qu'elle soit la solution du problème Brexit, pour nous, la défense des droits des citoyens européens, 3 500 000 qui habitent au Royaume-Uni, est une priorité. Et nous défendons aussi les droits des citoyens britanniques qui habitent chez nous dans l'Union européenne. Donc, c'est-à-dire, tout d'abord, les droits des citoyens européens aujourd'hui, britanniques et qui viennent d'autres pays. Merci beaucoup.
Merci, Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs les députés, Madame la Secrétaire d'État. D'abord, merci, Monsieur le Président, de me permettre à nouveau, ici en plénière, de m'exprimer devant vous et ainsi, jour après jour, de consolider aux côtés du président Juncker le climat de confiance, la transparence, le dialogue que nous avons ensemble construit avec vous, Mesdames et Messieurs les députés, et en particulier avec le Brexit Steering Group, Guy Verhofstadt et tous les membres de ce groupe depuis 1 an et demi, au rythme d'une réunion pratiquement chaque semaine. Mesdames et Messieurs, hier, pour la première fois, le Premier ministre britannique Theresa May a ouvertement plaidé pour réouvrir l'accord de retrait. Elle a, avant même les votes intervenant en fin de soirée, pris de la distance, ainsi, par rapport à l'accord qu'elle avait elle-même négocié et sur lequel nous étions tombés d'accord. Le gouvernement britannique a apporté dans la foulée un soutien explicite à l'amendement présenté par Sir Graham Brady qui demande le remplacement du backstop que nous avons prévu dans le protocole irlandais et son remplacement par des arrangements alternatifs qui n'ont d'ailleurs à aucun moment été définis. En même temps, la Chambre des communes a rejeté le scénario d'un no deal, sans d'ailleurs aucune précision sur les moyens d'éviter un tel scénario. Voilà la situation dans laquelle nous nous trouvons cet après-midi, dans le cours de cette très longue et extraordinaire négociation. Et à un moment que je veux, Monsieur le Président, qualifier, comme j'ai été en toute première ligne aux côtés et sous l'autorité du président Juncker, du président Tusk et de vous-même, un moment que je qualifie de grave et de très sérieux. Le président Tusk hier soir, le président Juncker à l'instant ont rappelé que nous partageons cette volonté du Parlement britannique d'éviter un no deal. Et je suis d'accord avec Theresa May, voter contre un no deal, comme ça a été le cas hier soir, ça n'élimine pas le risque du no deal. Pour nous, Mesdames et Messieurs, l'accord de retrait est et reste le meilleur et unique moyen d'assurer un retrait ordonné du Royaume-Uni et de mettre en œuvre de manière ordonnée la décision souveraine qu'a prise une majorité de citoyens britanniques et que nous respectons de quitter l'Union européenne. Et je pense, malgré les difficultés d'aujourd'hui, que nous pouvons atteindre cet objectif à condition d'être à la fois réalistes et lucides, respectueux et responsables, les uns et les autres, les uns avec les autres. Mesdames et Messieurs, le backstop dont le président Juncker a parlé fait partie de l'accord de retrait et cet accord ne sera pas renégocié. Les conclusions du Conseil européen de décembre, qui rejoignent en tout point les déclarations et les résolutions du Parlement européen, ne laissent place à aucun doute sur ce point. Je voudrais dire un mot du backstop pour que tout le monde mesure bien de quoi il s'agit. Ce backstop, ce n'est pas du dogmatisme, c'est une solution réaliste. Nous avons cherché tout au long de cette négociation, sous votre contrôle, des solutions aux problèmes créés en particulier, mais pas seulement, en particulier en Irlande par le Brexit lui-même. Et le backstop tel qu'il figure dans l'accord de retrait, c'est le résultat de ces négociations extrêmement intenses menées depuis 2 ans par nous avec le Royaume-Uni, jamais contre le Royaume-Uni. Le backstop, c'est une réponse pragmatique à la situation unique sur l'île d'Irlande après que le Royaume-Uni ait décidé souverainement de quitter non seulement l'Union européenne, mais de quitter aussi le marché unique et de quitter enfin l'union douanière. 2 ans ont été nécessaires pour trouver cette solution qui concilie plusieurs exigences. La première exigence, pour nous tous, c'est d'éviter à tout prix le retour d'une frontière dure en Irlande, c'est-à-dire de préserver les conditions qui sont là depuis 20 ans de la paix, de la stabilité, du dialogue sur l'île d'Irlande, depuis notamment la signature du Good Friday and Belfast Agreement. Je rappelle d'ailleurs que le Royaume-Uni lui-même, par la voix de son Premier ministre à plusieurs reprises, a confirmé son engagement comme co-garant des conditions de ce Good Friday Belfast Agreement. Et nous avons nous-mêmes accompagné depuis 20 ans, par le programme Peace, par le droit européen, par des politiques européennes, par le budget européen, la bonne réussite de cette coopération entre les différentes communautés. Première exigence. Deuxième exigence, c'est la volonté et la demande du gouvernement britannique de garder l'Irlande du Nord et la Grande-Bretagne dans un territoire douanier unique. Troisième exigence, évidemment la nôtre, celle dont nous sommes responsables collectivement, c'est la préservation de l'intégrité du marché intérieur. Mesdames et messieurs, ce dernier point est pour nous fondamental. La frontière irlandaise va devenir, par la volonté britannique, la frontière de l'Union européenne et du marché intérieur. Ce sera notre nouvelle frontière extérieure. Ce qui est en jeu, c'est évidemment la protection de tous les consommateurs et de toutes les entreprises de l'Union. Je vais le dire plus concrètement encore. La décision britannique de quitter l'Union, le marché unique et le marché intérieur a une conséquence pratique, c'est que toute marchandise, tout animal vivant, tout produit d'origine animale ou végétale qui rentre en Irlande du Nord en provenance de Grande-Bretagne entre non seulement en Irlande du Nord et en Irlande, rentre dans le marché unique de vos pays. Et que la nature, la qualité, la sécurité, la régularité de ce produit, la sécurité liée à la protection animale, et je le dis comme ancien ministre de l'Agriculture de mon pays, exige des contrôles, ce que nous faisons à chacune des frontières extérieures, partout dans l'Union européenne, des contrôles d'ordre fiscal, des contrôles d'ordre sanitaire, d'ordre vétérinaire, d'ordre réglementaire. Nous devons cette protection à tous les consommateurs, 500 millions aujourd'hui avec le Royaume-Uni et 22 millions d'entreprises. Nous devons cette protection à tous ceux qui font travailler et vivre le marché intérieur. Voilà. Et parmi ceux qui aujourd'hui demandent la suppression de ce backstop, il y a des parlementaires britanniques, j'en écoutais encore un ce matin, qui ont pourtant négocié avec nous et qui savent parfaitement que ce backstop, c'est la solution que nous avons trouvée pour ce qui est, comme le disait Jean-Claude Juncker, le cœur, pour nous, Européens, de nos obligations et de nos principes, c'est-à-dire la protection du marché intérieur dans toutes ses dimensions, les droits qui s'y attachent, droits sociaux, droits économiques, droits des consommateurs, les droits environnementaux et la protection des entreprises et des consommateurs. Voilà. Et pour tout vous dire, mesdames et messieurs, quand j'écoute certains qui ont même participé à la négociation s'exprimer comme ils le font, je ne peux pas, j'ai du mal à accepter, franchement, le blame game dans lequel ils voudraient jouer contre nous. Voilà, le président. Je voudrais dire après le président Juncker que nous ne ferons rien. C'est aussi simple que ça, je dis calmement, qui fragiliserait le marché intérieur. Nous ne ferons rien qui conduise à compromettre l'avenir de l'Union européenne au présent de cette négociation. Et comme le président l'a dit, nous sommes cependant ouverts, évidemment, aux arrangements alternatifs qui ont été hier évoqués par la Chambre des communes. Le protocole irlandais et la déclaration politique les mentionnent. La lettre des présidents Tusk et Juncker en a fait même une priorité dans les futures négociations. Nous sommes prêts à y travailler aussitôt après la signature de cet accord de retrait. Mais aujourd'hui, franchement, personne, ni d'un côté ni de l'autre, n'est en mesure de dire précisément, de manière claire, quelle serait la nature de ces arrangements alternatifs pour qu'ils soient opérationnels et qu'ils remplissent effectivement les objectifs du backstop. Voilà pourquoi, je le dis à nouveau calmement et clairement, au moment où nous sommes, et s'agissant de cet accord de retrait tel qu'il vous est proposé pour être ratifié, nous avons besoin de ce backstop tel qu'il est. Voilà, mesdames et messieurs, rejeter ce backstop tel qu'il est aujourd'hui, ça revient en quelque sorte à rejeter la solution qui a été trouvée avec les Britanniques, mais le problème, lui, il demeure, tel que je l'ai décrit. Sur ce point et au-delà de la question des arrangements alternatifs dont j'ai parlé, le Conseil européen, comme le Parlement européen, ont déjà, à plusieurs reprises et clairement, rejeté l'idée d'une limite dans le temps ou d'une sortie unilatérale du backstop, puisque de telles idées dénatureraient immédiatement l'idée même du backstop, qui est une assurance que nous ne souhaitons pas utiliser, comme d'ailleurs votre propre assurance dans votre appartement, votre maison, mais qui est là si jamais nous en avions besoin. Voilà. Je veux enfin rappeler que l'accord de retrait dont on parle et que vous connaissez, il va bien au-delà de la question de l'Irlande. Cet accord sécurise les droits de plus de 4,5 millions de citoyens. Monsieur le Président Tajani, vous avez évoqué la priorité du Parlement, nous l'avons faite nôtre, et quoi qu'il arrive, cette priorité pour sécurité des droits des citoyens, nos compatriotes qui vivent 3,5 millions au Royaume-Uni, de nos différents pays, et évidemment, réciproquement, la sécurité des droits d'1,5 million de citoyens qui sont résidents dans l'un de nos pays, ça restera notre priorité. Cet accord protège l'ensemble des bénéficiaires du budget européen. Dans les 28 pays, les engagements pris à 28 devraient être respectés, sont respectés à 28. Il met en place une période de transition de 21 mois, durant laquelle les entreprises, comme les administrations, des deux côtés, pourront se préparer à cette future relation et durant lesquelles nous aurons le temps, un temps très court, exigeant, de négocier cette future relation dans une nouvelle étape de négociation. Voilà, cet accord, c'est le préalable pour construire la confiance dont nous avons besoin entre le Royaume-Uni, qui restera un pays ami, allié, partenaire, et l'Union européenne. Un vrai partenariat solide et ambitieux. Je voudrais juste ajouter que s'agissant de cette future relation, les Européens sont prêts et resteront prêts dans les jours qui viennent à être plus ambitieux et à retravailler la nature et l'intensité de notre future relation économique en particulier. Et vous savez, mesdames et messieurs les députés, qu'il existe plusieurs modèles de coopération économique avec les pays tiers. Chacun de ces modèles a évidemment son propre équilibre de droits et d'obligations, mais il existe beaucoup de modèles. Et je veux dire simplement que si la demande britannique évoluait au-delà d'un simple accord de libre-échange, sur lequel nous nous sommes mis d'accord dans la déclaration politique, vers l'un ou l'autre de ces modèles, nous sommes et nous serons immédiatement prêts à en discuter et à répondre à une nouvelle ambition britannique par notre propre ambition, cela a déjà été dit, et par vous-même dans vos résolutions et par le Conseil européen. Voilà. Mesdames et messieurs, j'ai évoqué tout à l'heure le réalisme et la lucidité, comme vous l'avez fait, Madame la Secrétaire d'État, à moins de 60 jours de la date de la sortie du Royaume-Uni, et en l'absence aujourd'hui d'une majorité positive à la Chambre des communes pour une solution identifiée et acceptable par l'Union européenne, il est, comme l'a dit le président Juncker, urgent et nécessaire de nous préparer à tous les scénarios et à mettre en place toutes les mesures de contingency plus que jamais nécessaire et c'est le travail qui a été confié par le président Juncker au secrétaire général et à toutes les équipes qui travaillent avec vous, avec vos commissions et avec l'ensemble des États membres. Je vous remercie pour votre attention et pour votre confiance.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur Barnier. Vous pouvez compter sur le soutien du Parlement europeo. Il primo oratore è l'onorevole Elmar Brok a nome del gruppo del Partito Popolare Europeo.
Herr Präsident, Frau Ratspräsidentin, Herr Kommissionspräsident, lieber Michel Barnier, Kolleginnen und Kollegen! Zuerst möchte ich mich bei Jean-Claude Juncker und Michel Barnier bedanken für die gute Kooperation, die wirkliche Transparenz, die Informationen, die wir bekommen und auch des Zuhörens in diesem Prozess. Ein gutes Beispiel von Kooperation. Und daraus kommt auch unser großes Bewusstsein, dass wir diese Verhandlungsstrategie weiter unterstützen. Wir haben gestern Abstimmungen im House of Commons erlebt, in dem alle konstruktiven Vorschläge wie neues Referendum, Customs Union abgelehnt worden sind. Man hat sich nur geeinigt auf die Position, dass Frau May nun das 3. oder 4. Mal kommt, um mit Brüssel noch mal über den Backstop zu reden. Nichts Neues. Ich glaube, es ist jetzt wichtig, bevor Frau May hierher kommt, dass sie endlich untereinander reden. Es ist ein Skandal, dass Oppositionsführer und Regierungschefinnen über 3 Jahre nicht miteinander reden. Wenn man austritt, sollte man wissen, was man haben will, bevor man andere belästigt. Bitte kommt mit einer eigenen Position, redet untereinander. Please talk to each other. Come to a constructive idea and come back to Brussels. That might be an important question. Talk to each other. We are united. You are not united within the government, within the Tory party, within the Labour Party. That's the main problem. Wir sehen hier, dass wir eine negative Mehrheit haben, die aus verschiedenen Gruppen besteht, die so weit geht von den Hard-Brexit-Leuten bis zu den Remainern. Und da können wir verhandeln und vorschlagen, was sie wollen. Diejenigen, die den harten Brexit wollen, werden nicht zustimmen. Und diejenigen, die noch hoffen, da ist mein Herz mit denen, aber nicht der Verstand mehr, dass wir sehen müssen, dass die alles ablehnen werden, was nicht Referendum ist. Und solange dies die Situation ist, wird da nichts zustande kommen. Und da kann mit Frau May über eine neue Art von Backstop was verhandelt werden. Das wird aus diesen Gründen genauso abgelehnt. Und Sie müssen das eine sehen. Irland ist Mitglied der Europäischen Union. Es kam aus der Europäischen Union im hohen Teil, dass das Good Friday Agreement zusammengekommen ist. Ich erinnere mich an unseren alten Freund und Kollegen John Hume, der aus diesem Hause heraus das mit vielen anderen gemacht hat. Wir werden dies verteidigen. Wir werden das Peace-Programm verteidigen. Wir wollen keine harte Grenze. Wir wollen aber hier, wie die britische Regierung gesagt hat, auch keine harte Grenze zu haben. Wie sie mehrfach unterschrieben hat, dass sie einen Backstop haben will. Im Dezember 2017 das erste Mal. Das muss mal klar sein. Wir werden Irland verteidigen und eine weiche Grenze versuchen hinzubekommen. Da muss man aber die Bereitschaft der anderen Seite haben. Und den Backstop, den wir heute haben, mit dieser Zollunion, ist die britische Erfindung. Das war der britische Vorschlag. Die Europäische Union hat andere Vorschläge gemacht dazu. Das heißt, Sie wollen jetzt etwas verhandeln, was Sie selbst vorgeschlagen haben. Ich finde das eine tolle Nummer, die da abgelaufen ist. Und deswegen miteinander reden. Sie selbst in London miteinander reden und diese Sache unter sich selbst klar machen. Und wir bekommen wenn wir das Withdrawal Agreement haben, eine Übergangsregelung, in der wir die vielen Dinge regeln können, wie beispielsweise eine Freihandelszone oder weitergehende. Norwegen, Schweiz, alles sind wir offen dafür. Aber damit braucht man den Backstop nicht. Es ist für jedermann klar, dass zu 99%, wenn wir die Transitional Period erreichen, Backstop gar nicht angewandt wird. Es geht also gar nicht darum, in der Sache etwas da zu regeln, sondern man will kein Agreement haben. Aus den unterschiedlichen Gründen, die ich dargestellt habe. Und da bitte ich einmal, das doch mal wieder in Ordnung zu bringen, um das klar zu machen. Deswegen ist es sicher, dass wir die Preparedness-Gesetzgebung jetzt betreiben. Es ist wichtig, dass wir bereit sind, wenn ein Vorschlag kommt, offen zu reden, eine Lösung zu erreichen. Ich heiße es willkommen, dass das Unterhaus gesagt hat, wir wollen keinen Hard Brexit. Das wollen wir auch nicht. Ich will sogar überhaupt keinen Brexit, um das noch mal klarzustellen. Aber das ist die britische Entscheidung, dies zu machen. Das haben wir zu akzeptieren. Und wir müssen dabei sein, den Schaden so gering wie möglich zu halten für beide Seiten. Nur eins ist für mich klar, und das muss die britische Bevölkerung wissen. Der Schaden für Großbritannien ist immer der höhere. Der europäische Markt ist 14-mal so groß wie der britische. Unternehmen werden abziehen. Alle, die für den europäischen Markt produzieren, werden aus Großbritannien weggehen. Es wird eine bittere Stunde für Großbritannien. Es wird eine schädliche Stunde für uns. Aber für Großbritannien eine bittere Stunde. Lasst uns zusammenkommen und vernünftig reden. Und das heißt, dass die britische Seite erst eine eigene konstruktive Position haben muss. Herzlichen Dank.
Excellent German from the British bench there, thank you. We move now to our next speaker on my list here, Mr. Gualtieri for the Alliance of Socialists and Democrats.
Thank you, President, Mr. President of the Commission, dear Michel. It is difficult to deny that we are facing a difficult and grave situation and that the risk of no deal has increased. The House of Commons has voted it rejects a no-deal Brexit, which is good, but at the same time it has asked to replace the Northern Ireland backstop with alternative arrangements, which is clearly not a workable option. We have seen with surprise the same Prime Minister who just a few days ago said that the best backstop was an essential part of the best deal possible, now calling for its replacement. This might have temporarily reunited a political party, but has not provided any positive solution to the Brexit deadlock. We have therefore to explain again why this Parliament and the European Council, in their mandate to the EU negotiator, have made clear that an operational and legally binding backstop is an essential pillar of a withdrawal agreement, and that we will not give consent to any deal without it. Preventing a hard border in Ireland and protecting the peace process is not a partisan position, and the single market integrity is a not negotiable free principle for the European Union. The backstop is a guarantee, an option of last resort. It is necessary to ensure that if an agreement on the future EU-UK relationship is not concluded by the end of the transition period, the minimum essential safeguards will be in place to keep the border open while safeguarding the integrity of a single market. It is worth to recall that the backstop has been modified at the request of the UK government, and it was not an easy concession from the EU side. We did it to allow Northern Ireland to remain part of the same customs territory as the rest of the UK, avoiding tariffs, quotas of checks on rule of the region within it. And we did it notwithstanding the fact that our original proposal of backstops was simple, fair, and did not impose any material border in the Irish Sea. The only positive message from yesterday's vote is that the UK Parliament rejects a no-deal Brexit. This is welcome. A no-deal would be bad for everybody, but a disaster for the UK. It is right that MPs made clear that this is not acceptable. So what's next? We have always said, and we repeat today, that we want to see as close a relationship as possible between the United Kingdom and the European Union. It was the UK red lines that has made this impossible so far. This means that, for us, the only alternative to the backstop is a closer EU-UK relationship. If you want to ensure that the backstop is never used, build a positive majority for a more ambitious relationship, a customs union at least a closer alignment to the single market. We are now less than 2 months away from the UK leaving the EU. We urgently need to see positive proposals from the UK on how to break this deadlock. If Parliament is unable to do this, then it should be put back to the British people. If the UK needs more time, we are open to it, but we need a clear plan or proposal on how it will help resolve the issue. We cannot allow more time for bluster of false promises. We are united, strongly united, calm, firm behind our negotiator. We will continue to follow the clear mandate given both by the European Council and the European Parliament. And so it is right that on the basis that is unity, we have to be worried, but we can be also optimists. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr Fox for the Conservatives and Reformists Group. And please show respect to the speakers. Mr Coburn, that was directed towards you. Thank you. Mr Fox, I hope he shows you respect. Thank you.
Madam President, I've heard 5 speeches this afternoon describe the efforts made to negotiate the withdrawal agreement and how good it is. But I'm sure you will all have noticed that this very withdrawal agreement was rejected 2 weeks ago in the House of Commons by an overwhelming majority. So now is not a moment for rhetoric, but for reflection. It was never going to be easy to disentangle the United Kingdom from the European Union, but there is now a clearer road ahead if we choose to take it. I know there are some here, Elmar Brok, still hoping that the UK will stay in the Union and are taking positions based on that hope. But this is not going to happen. It would be wrong in principle to ignore the referendum result. And in practice, it is clear there is no majority in the House of Commons in favour of such a course. The amendment designed to secure a second referendum was withdrawn, as it had so little support. The British government and the House of Commons wants to leave the EU in an orderly manner and with a deal. And to achieve that, we need to change how the protocol on Northern Ireland operates. We must do all we can to support the Good Friday Agreement. But it is a paradox that the backstop, whose purpose is to avoid a hard border, may, in just 58 days' time, be the cause of creating such a hard border in the island of Ireland. Let me repeat, the backstop in its current form will not prevent a hard border. It will create it. Let us all pause to consider this. It may be very easy to sit down to great applause today for a rigid defence of an existing position. History may not be so kind. Because as things stand, we don't have a deal. There is no deal until both sides have approved it according to their law. And it is simply not good enough to repeat ad nauseam that the deal cannot be amended. That leads to no deal. And that leads, as the Commission confirmed last week, to a hard border between the United Kingdom and Ireland. So it is my hope that even at this late hour, changes or additions can be made to bring a deal safely home. As Monsieur Barnier said, in the event of a no deal, the EU would find an alternative operational way to carry out checks and controls without putting back in place a border. That's a quote. Let us look at that now. Let us consider whether time limits and exit mechanisms offer a solution. Let us proceed with goodwill, remembering that flexibility and generosity are not signs of weakness, but of strength. For what is at stake is not just the draft agreement. At stake is the future partnership between the European Union and the United Kingdom. Let us ensure that we can construct a long-term relationship to promote our common values and our shared interests in an uncertain world. Let us find a way to move forward together. Thank you.
For the Alliance of Liberals and Democrats, Mr Verhofstadt.
Yes, after the vote yesterday, Mrs. May announced that she will come to Brussels, and for me, I have to tell you very honestly, she's always welcome. Certainly here in this European Parliament, it should be good that she comes to the European Parliament here, as we requested already more than a year ago. But the question today is naturally, for what? For what? To do what? Is it to change the red lines that the British government has used from day one? That could be a breakthrough, I think. That could change effectively the outcome of this whole process. Or is it, that's my second point, what will be her mandate? Because for the moment, I have to tell you, Mr. Fox, I have also yesterday not seen a parliament that gives a clear mandate to Theresa May. We have seen a vote against a number of things. Against the deal, against no deal, against the backstop. But until today, more than 2 years, the House of Commons has not voted one proposal in favour of something, in favour of a relationship between the EU and the UK. Never. The last 2 months, I have to tell you, have been very exhausting. Very exhausting. Not only at the other side of the channel, also here. Endless debates, long list of amendments, amendments going in all directions, selected by the Speaker, and then won and lost with a teeny-tiny majority. I give here the list. The Grieve Amendment, that was the 4th of December. That was for a Remain amendment. Huh? Won by 22 votes. The Cooper Amendment, also Remain amendment, that was of the 8th of January, won with 7 votes. Then another Cooper Amendment, that was yesterday, lost by 23 votes. Then the Brady Amendment, that was more a Leave Amendment, won by 16 votes yesterday. And then again a Remain Amendment, the Spellman Amendment, and to take the no deal from the table, won by 8 votes. Is that the way you can solve a problem of a magnitude? Is that the way to do that? Is that the way you do that? That is every day changing your opinion, every day changing your opinion, and in any way creating an uncertainty, an instability, instead of concluding a real new relationship between the EU and the UK. And I have to tell you, I'm looking to that and I cannot understand it, that what started as a catfight inside the Conservative Party is today an existential problem for the whole Britain. And like yesterday voting, for example, the Spellman Amendment with a majority of 8 votes, saying the no deal is off the table, and then the Prime Minister coming back 5 minutes later and saying, no, that was for joking, that we did that. A no deal is still possible. I have to tell you, we cannot go further like that. This is a lack of clarity and a lack of stability. And I hope one thing, that is at this moment is happening as we speak, a meeting between the leader of the opposition, Mr. Corbyn, and the Prime Minister, Mrs. May. I hope that they will decide, or that they will discuss content, and that is not only eating biscuits and drinking tea this afternoon. Because it could be the solution for this problem if they start to working together on a cross-party approach so that we know what the position of the UK is in the future. Because we don't know it. Putting in fact, Mr. Fox, putting in fact country before party. telling us how they see that future relationship between the EU and the UK, and not using or abusing Brexit as it happened now to get rid of each other, because that is what's happening today. And if that is the spirit that emerged in Downing Street this afternoon, then the Prime Minister May can come and has to come to Brussels to tell us what this broad, stable majority, cross-party wants as future relationship. And I think also there is the solution for the backstop. Because if there is a close relationship, deeper as Michel Barnier has indicated, then the backstop will still exist. But it shall not be necessary to use it. It shall be a theoretical insurance that in fact is not necessary to apply. Again, we are ready to go in that direction. Michel Barnier has indicated, Jean-Claude Juncker has indicated. It's time that the political class in Britain is also ready to go in that direction, the fastest as possible, because you're going to pay the first price of this lack of clarity.
Our next speaker on my list is Madam Scott Cato for the Greens European Free Alliance. Madam.
Thank you very much, President. Westminster is in meltdown. The internal contradictions of Brexit were laid bare last night. Brexit was never anything more than a bunch of slogans. It could never be turned into a coherent negotiating position. As we play out the endgame and the Brexit fraud is revealed, its supporters dream up fantasy deals so that failure can be blamed on Brussels. But we must hold our nerve through this Westminster chaos. A majority of UK citizens know that the best future for our country is inside the European Union. Here, we can continue to be part of the world's most successful peace project, and together we can tackle the huge cross-border issues we face, most notably climate change. We are now the majority, and as young people reaching voting age want to join us in improving our continent in mutual friendship, so our numbers grow. Now that MPs have rejected no deal, the clear choice is still between the deal negotiated between the UK and the EU and remaining in the EU. This choice must be given back to the people. The hostility of the supporters of Brexit, as we see here, to such a democratic check proves that they are running scared, because they know, as I do, that the will of the British people has changed and has turned against them and their Brexit chaos.
Colleagues, if it were in my power, but it's not, the word rubbish would be banned from this chamber. I wouldn't share it with you, sir. We'll move to the next speaker on my list, Madam Zimmer. Please, this is a very difficult issue for all of us, and the least we could do is respect the person that has the microphone. There are too many, and I have to say, on my right, intervening with the debate. Please listen. It is far too serious an issue for us to play out in Parliament. This is not the House of Commons, colleagues. This is the European Parliament.
Danke, Frau Präsidentin. Wir haben natürlich auch heute in unserer Fraktion darüber diskutiert, wie wir angesichts der gestrigen Abstimmung mit der jetzigen Situation umgehen wollen. Und für uns als Fraktion ist völlig klar, wir stehen zu dem ausgehandelten Withdrawal Agreement als die erreichbare Lösung. Es ist nicht das Beste, was man sich wünschen könnte für die künftigen Beziehungen als Grundlage für den Ausbau dann künftiger Beziehungen zwischen der EU und Großbritannien, aber es ist ja offensichtlich das, was mit viel Kraftanstrengung, mit viel Ressourcen, mit viel Nervenverlusten in den letzten 2 Jahren, 1,5 Jahren ausgearbeitet werden konnte. Und ich denke, irgendwann muss man sich mal entscheiden, ob man das, was man erreichen kann, gemeinsam erreichen kann, ob man dann dazu auch steht oder ob jeder von seiner Seite aus noch mal versucht, ich möchte mir das rauspicken, ich möchte dort noch mal was machen und dann letztendlich die gemeinsamen Grundlagen massiv gefährdet. Und ich möchte hier an dieser Stelle daran erinnern, und das möchte ich auch mit Blick auf die Kollegen im House of Commons sagen, was wir als Europäisches Parlament geschafft haben, vor knapp 2 Jahren, als wir das Mandat formuliert haben für die Verhandlungen, ist, dass wir Einfluss auf das Mandat, das Herr Barnier bekommen hat, nehmen konnten. Und dass wir in dieser Diskussion unter anderem auch deutlich machen konnten, wie wichtig es ist, bei diesen Verhandlungen die Rechte der EU-Bürgerinnen in UK, aber auch der britischen Bürger und Bürgerinnen in der Europäischen Union und andererseits aber auch die volle Frage der Stabilisierung des Friedensprozesses in Nordirland als rote Linien zu betrachten. Da ging es nicht um unsere eigenen Interessen. Da ging es um die Fragen von Frieden und Stabilität in der gesamten Union. Und ich habe mir sehr genau schon Anfang Januar bei der ersten Abstimmung und auch gestern die Debatte im House of Commons angeguckt. Und ich hatte zum Teil den Eindruck, unsere britischen Kolleginnen und Kollegen nehmen uns nicht richtig ernst. Sie verstehen auch bestimmte Prozesse nicht und sie diskutieren so, als ob sie alleine abstimmen könnten über die Veränderung. Nein, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen in London, ihr müsst mit uns auch darüber reden. Ihr müsst auch unsere Position mit zur Kenntnis nehmen. Ihr könnt nicht so tun, als würde das britische Empire auch in der Europäischen Union gelten. Wir haben hier eine eigene Demokratie. Ihr wart bisher Bestandteil dieser Demokratie und ich habe immer sehr geachtet und hochgeschätzt das, was ich von der britischen Diplomatie und Demokratie kannte. Ich bin entsetzt darüber, welches Schauspiel uns vorgeführt wird. Und ich denke, es ist wichtig, zurückzukommen, zurück auf die Grundlagen zu kommen, was wir eigentlich am Ende erreichen wollen und sich nicht einfach nur einzumauern. Und ich sage ganz klar, die einzige Hoffnung, die ich noch habe, ist, dass in dem Gespräch zwischen Corbyn und Theresa May tatsächlich noch mal ein Stück Bewegung kommt für die Verhandlungen mit der EU. Und dann kann ja noch draufgesattelt werden. Wir sind doch offen dafür, mehr Beziehungen zu entwickeln, klare Beziehungen zu entwickeln. Aber was wir nicht machen werden, also zumindest nicht von meiner Fraktion. Und ich bin bisher froh darüber, dass die anderen Fraktionen, die meisten zumindest, das auch so ähnlich sehen. Wir werden nicht zulassen, dass an den Beschäftigungsrechten, dass an den Umweltstandards, dass an den Verbraucherschutzstandards irgendetwas zurückgedreht wird. Wir werden nicht zulassen, dass das Good Friday Agreement nicht in all seinen Teilen respektiert wird. Wir werden nicht zulassen, dass es zu einer harten Grenze kommt. Wir werden nicht zulassen, dass die EU-Bürgerinnen am 30. März letztendlich als Drittstaaten in Großbritannien gelten und letztendlich sich einem Verfahren stellen müssen, das diskriminierend für sie ist, das ihnen alle Rechte wegnimmt. Und das möchte ich insbesondere den Kolleginnen und Kollegen im House of Commons sagen. Abschließender Satz. Ich hatte mich gefreut, als damals die britischen Kollegen sich das Recht erstritten haben, dass sie in diesem Prozess eine Stimme bekommen. Aber dann sollen sie diese Stimme auch nutzen und sollen eine Stimme auch mal laut äußern, was sie wirklich wollen.
Mr. Farage, you have the floor.
Well, public opinion, indeed public anger, had a big impact on those votes in the House of Commons yesterday, and with it we've seen a diminution of the risk of a second referendum. For now, the prospect of Article 50 being extended taken off the table. And when I hear speakers, despite the Spellman Amendment, saying today they're worried that the risk of a no deal has increased, you're right, it has. But not because of what happened last night in Westminster, but because of the response, gentlemen, we got from you this afternoon. You know, even when the Prime Minister actually gets a majority behind her. And all right, I accept she made a dreadful mistake by signing up to the backstop. You summoned her. At 4:15 in the morning, she left Downing Street. She went to meet the ultimatum that you'd set her. She signed up to something that has proved to be a disaster. She signed up to something that no country, unless it had been defeated in war, would have signed up to. We now realise that mistake, and actually the House of Commons, the country, is overall looking for a deal. But you know something? Before the referendum, no one knew who the European Commission were. That Maoist Barroso was a complete unknown. You guys are now household names. And what we've seen is an appreciation in Britain that unelected bureaucrats in Brussels have been talking down to and humiliating the Prime Minister of our nation, and we don't like it. And even when she comes back trying to be reasonable, saying let's renegotiate. You're not prepared to give an inch. The reason that a no-deal Brexit's got a little bit closer is because of the sheer language and attitude, not just from the Commission, but from many in the Parliament towards the United Kingdom. I think public opinion will be very, very angry that there is no give today from anybody in Brussels whatsoever. I think many will say we're simply dealing with fanatics who are not prepared to be reasonable and make any sense of compromise. And of course, Theresa May has made compromise after compromise, way too many compromises in my view. So I think we are beginning to think that the public will come to a view that no deal is better than the backstop, and that's a big problem. It's a big problem for all of you who want to get re-elected in a few weeks' time, because no deal means no 39 billion and your voters will be coughing up the money. No deal means the 100 million bottles of Prosecco we buy every year from Italy will become more expensive, as will 750,000 German cars. So why don't we all prepare sensibly for a no-deal scenario? Why don't we prepare to go to the World Trade Organization, use Article 24, so that we can, after we leave on March the 29th, have a 2-year period of no tariffs, no quotas, no restrictions of any kind, no problems or difficulties with Ireland whatsoever. Brexit will have been delivered. You will have protected for at least 2 years your voters. That, I think, ladies and gentlemen, right now is the only possible constructive way forward.
Mr. Batten.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. The last 2.5 years have been a long and tedious series of spurious impediments put up in order to prevent us leaving the European Union, as exemplified by the classic backstop bull. The House of Commons rejected the so-called deal and sent Mrs May back to renegotiate with a Commission that has already told us that it won't renegotiate. The Commons may have rejected the amendment to extend Article 50, but it knows very well that the Withdrawal Act itself allows that date to be put back, and the Council of the European Union can extend Article 50 if it so agrees. Will we actually leave on the 29th of March? Or will the British political establishment manage to overthrow the result of the referendum altogether? The best thing that can now happen is if we have no deal on the 29th of March and that we leave under the Withdrawal Act and on WTO terms. Article 50 will have expired and the treaties will cease to apply. If the British Parliament prevents this happening, then they will have put themselves in open rebellions against the British people, and that will have profound consequences for any belief in democracy that is left in the United Kingdom.
Mr. Woolfe.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. Today is a good day for Brexit. Today is a good day for British democracy. Because over the past 2 years, our government has lost its way. Instead of negotiating effectively, it compromised weakly. The EU wanted to trap Britain in a backstop deal that makes us pay money, yet stops us competing against them on the world stage. The EU worked and encouraged Remain collaborators in this House and Westminster. It invited devotees from Blair to Chuckling-Omana, flowing like champagne at an Islington Remainers' wake. The constant negativity stalked us. Weakness cowered us. Division delayed us. But weakness no more. Despite this, the British people were not for turning. They valued their vote over Project Fear. They do not fear a WTO deal, but relish an independent future. And the British government has finally caught the mood and got on the freedom train. They finally understand our desire for independence, our fight for self-determination, our belief in our nation state. By uniting last night, the Conservatives are succeeding in releasing our spirit of belief once more. We will leave the European Union, we will have Brexit, and we will be an independent nation once more. Thank you.
And now, to conclude our debate, I give the floor to Madam Chiok for the Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Honourable members, ladies and gentlemen, should the parliamentary process in the UK lead to a ratification of the withdrawal agreement, hopefully along the foreseen timeline, we will have to move to the next steps, starting with the implementation. This implementation will have to be kept under close watch so that it delivers in the interest of citizens and businesses and contributes to the trust needed for the negotiations of the future relationship, which are unlikely to be easy. We will therefore count on your cooperation at all the stages of these processes in the years to come. Thank you very much once again for your attention.
Thank you, Madam. Colleagues, the debate is now closed.
Dobry wieczór, witam serdecznie panie, witam panów. Przechodzimy do kolejnego punktu porządku obrad, a mianowicie oświadczenie Komisji zwalczanie atmosfery nienawiści oraz przemocy wobec demokratycznie wybranych osób upoważnionych. Chciałbym poinformować państwa, że w tej debacie nie przewidziano procedury pytań z sali i nie będą przyjmowane zgłoszenia przez podniesienie niebieskiej karty. Zatem w imieniu Komisji bardzo proszę, pierwszy zabierze głos pan komisarz Julian King. Commissioner King, the floor is yours, please.
Chair, honourable members, this is obviously a very important debate that we're about to have. In our democracies, political debate can sometimes be fierce, even very fierce. But resorting to violence or inciting hatred is never acceptable. Politically motivated murders, physical or other acts of hatred are shocking and directly contrary to our very core European values. Earlier on today, this House has already paid tribute. Let me join that tribute to a fighter for freedom and democracy, the Mayor of Gdansk, Mr. Paweł Adamowicz. For 20 years, he stood for those values. He dedicated his life to the service of his city and wider society. And while I'm speaking about this subject, I cannot but also recall the death of a member of the UK Parliament, Joe Cox, who was a passionate defender of the rights of everyone in society, including new arrivals from abroad, and indeed of the European Union. We need to recognise that sometimes individuals can be drawn to acts of violence, radicalised, if you like, by conspiracy theories, polarised debates, and more radical ideology. There can be no free and fair elections across Europe if there's a climate of hatred and threats of violence against candidates and those holding democratically elected mandates. Unfortunately, we've seen that even members of this Parliament are not immune from violence and abuse because of the views that they express, and we must deplore that. Earlier this year, Commissioner Jourova spoke at the inaugural meeting of the European Cooperation Network on Elections. This network is a concrete step forward in implementing the Commission's election package from last autumn. The package recommended deeper cooperation within and between member states to jointly identify and counter threats to our democratic processes and protect the integrity of our elections. We've had several exchanges over the last year on threats to electoral processes, including at an event in April, democratic participation on electoral matters, a conference in October on election interference in the digital age, and in November, the colloquium on fundamental rights. At all of these exchanges, one message comes through. One way a climate of hatred and threats of violence can be created is through disinformation and smear campaigns, often spread through the social media or accelerated through the social media. There have been coordinated disinformation campaigns which aim to discredit and delegitimise elections around Europe, sometimes conducted by third countries and sometimes by private interests from within our countries that do not have citizens and our democratic processes at heart. Responding to this effectively is a challenge. These threats don't respect borders or jurisdictions. They do not fit neatly into how we've dealt with regulating elections and political speech in the past. A group can misuse personal data to target online disinformation or to attempt to intimidate voters through threats. Other aspects, such as the often widely diverging rules on donations and contributions, and the opportunity that the online environment creates to get round existing electoral rules, make it even more of a challenge to deal with this. That's why we need to collaborate together to ensure that we can bring together the resources and expertise needed to strengthen our readiness to respond to and to resist and mitigate this kind of challenge. Within the framework of the European Election Cooperation Network, we are discussing what works, such as good ways to reach out to citizens to build their awareness and to retain their trust. The media literacy effort that has been pursued in Sweden before their last election was a good example. We consider new ways to involve citizens in securing the democratic process itself, as Latvia recently demonstrated by inviting citizens to give examples of political ads which were thought to break national rules directly to the regulators. And we'll discuss how best to make use of existing tools, from data protection to financial supervision, how best to close gaps which may have opened up as new technologies and their use and abuse have come into this electoral space. We'll look to see where we can deploy the Europeans' institutions, our institutions' influence and competences to support and help the Member States' efforts. In particular, this means working to ensure that the internet platforms, the big social media platforms, live up to the commitments that they have signed up to as part of our various codes of conduct and good practice, the Code of Conduct on Hate Speech and the Code of Practice against Disinformation. And as you may have seen, we presented the first of what will be a series of monthly reports on the progress the social media platforms are making in tackling disinformation yesterday. On the subject of hate speech, we need to keep in mind that hate speech is not free speech. It should be an unwritten duty of all democratically elected representatives to condemn hatred and to refrain from incitement to it. In accordance with the jurisprudence of the European Court of Human Rights, states may sanction or even prevent all forms of expression which spread, incite, promote or justify hatred based on intolerance. In today's society, online hate speech poses a threat, a societal threat, which not only affects the safety of immediate victims, it has a more general chilling effect on the freedom of expression and debate, not just online, but in our societies. Our core objective should be to ensure that authors of illegal hate speech are effectively prosecuted. We must ensure that all member states implement the framework decision on racism and xenophobia. The challenges that European electoral processes face are too complex to be solved by any one authority, member state, or even private sector service provider acting alone. Indeed, no one should be left to act alone in this space, or indeed to hold all the cards and make all the judgments. Rather, a comprehensive approach is essential to ensure electoral security and legitimacy, while preserving an open democratic debate, a level playing field, and the security of all those involved in our democratic processes. We must never lose sight that all our efforts need to be fully rooted in protecting and promoting the rule of law and respect for fundamental rights, in particular the freedoms of expression and association, which, after all, is what we're fighting to defend in our democratic processes and elections. Thank you for putting this on the agenda. We look forward very much to hearing today's debate and following up with you subsequently between now and the European parliamentary and other forthcoming elections. Thank you.
Dziękuję bardzo, panie komisarzu. Nasza debata będzie przebiegać w sposób następujący. Będziemy mieć wystąpienia w imieniu grup politycznych oraz jedno wystąpienie w imieniu posłów niezrzeszonych. W imieniu grupy politycznej EPL jako pierwszy wystąpi pan poseł Janusz Lewandowski. Bardzo proszę.
Dziękuję. Dziś tutaj, w samym sercu europejskiej demokracji, rozmawiamy o tym, jak chronić naszą demokrację przed mową nienawiści, która rujnuje wspólnotę, rodzi przemoc, a na końcu zbrodnicze reżimy. Przed chwilą czciliśmy pamięć Holokaustu. Ta debata jest przede wszystkim, nie tylko, ale przede wszystkim reakcją na zabójstwo prezydenta Gdańska Pawła Adamowicza, mego przyjaciela. Nóż wbito osobie, która nie potrafi żywić uczucia nienawiści, nawet wobec swoich wrogów. W Gdańsku, mieście naznaczonym wielokulturowością, naznaczonym złą i dobrą historią. W finale wielkiej akcji charytatywnej, o tyle unikalnej, że mobilizuje dobrą energię milionów ludzi. Ale nie chodzi dzisiaj o roztrząsanie tego, co było, ale zgodnie z wolą rodziny, obecnej dzisiaj w parlamencie, chodzi o wyciąganie wniosków na przyszłość. Bo problem jest europejski, a nie tylko polski. Przed Adamowiczem była wspomniana już Jo Cox, Anglia, 2016, Theo van Gogh, Holandia, 2004, Anna Lindh, Szwecja, 2003, wcześniej Olaf Palme, ale też Daphne Caruana Galicja na Malcie i Jan Kuciak, Słowacja. Za dużo tej motywowanej politycznie śmierci w XX wieku, w którym powinniśmy wiedzieć wszystko, jak chronić się przed nieszczęściami XX wieku, czyli nieszczęściem wojen i totalitaryzmów, bo one żywiły się mową nienawiści, żywiły się mową, tym językiem, który był językiem nazizmu, bolszewizmu, wszelkiego totalitaryzmu. Jest to język pogardy, odzierający ludzi z godności ludzkiej, wykluczający z wspólnoty albo jako wrogów ludu, albo jako wrogów ojczyzny. Wraca to niestety w sojuszu z anonimowością internetu. Budzą się stare demony. W szczególnym przypadku Polski hejt był upaństwowiony, zadany mediom publicznym, które po 100-kroć linczowały prezydenta Adamowicza. Był tolerowany, skoro tolerowano sprawców wieszania europosłów na rynku w Katowicach, skoro umorzono postępowanie wobec sprawców symbolicznych aktów zgonu wystawionym prezydentom tych miast, które godziły się przyjąć uchodźców. To są znamiona choroby naszej demokracji. Ale mowa nienawiści nie zna granic. Podmywa Unię Europejską z różnych stron, bo Unia Europejska wspiera się na fundamencie zupełnie innych wartości, poszanowania osoby ludzkiej, różnorodności, otwartości i dialogu. Oby więc śmierć Pawła Adamowicza była przebudzeniem i otrzeźwieniem. Jeżeli wątpimy w samoograniczenie klasy politycznej, w rozmaite kodeksy dobrej praktyki, dobrowolne i trwałe, to znaczy, że trzeba ulepszać przepisy, również egzekwować te przepisy, ścigać konsekwentnie mowę nienawiści, zwłaszcza w otchłani internetu, bo tam jest najgroźniejsza, jest anonimowa. Wzorem może być ustawa zaproponowana przez niemieckiego ministra Heiko Maasa. Mamy rekomendacje polskiego rzecznika praw obywatelskich. 20 rekomendacji, jak zwalczać mowę nienawiści również w internecie. Wtedy i tylko wtedy zło, które się wydarzyło, można obrócić w dobro. Wtedy i tylko wtedy, zgodnie z życzeniem rodziny Adamowicza, jego śmierć nie będzie daremna. Dziękuję.
Dziękuję bardzo. W imieniu Grupy Socjalistów i Demokratów pani posłanka Tania Fajon. Bardzo proszę.
Hvala lepa, predsedujoči. Predstavniki stranke Lega Nord našo italijansko kolegico Cecil Kyenge označujejo za orangutana. Primerjajo jo s sužnjo, želijo ji posilstvo in jo pošiljajo v njeno državo. Na Madžarskem so se varnostniki javne televizije fizično lotili opozicijskih poslancev. Laszlo Varju je zaradi poškodb končal v bolnišnici. Za napadom stoji stranka Fides. Nova 24 TV in Demokracija, slovenska medija, ki jo financira stranka SDS z denarjem iz Madžarske, me redno označujeta za zloglasno skrajno levičarko, fašistko, Soroševo plačanko, morilko krvavih rok, izdajalko domovine in podobno. Ko sem jih opozorila na neresničnost izjav in kazensko odgovornost, so dejali, da sem užaljena. Dragi kolegi, nisem užaljena, imamo pa resen problem. Take izjave in dejanja v demokratični Evropi ne bi smela biti brez posledic prihajati iz ust, izpod peres in rok politikov in medijev in tudi ne običajnih državljanov. Pred 3 meseci sem v Ljubljani organizirala konferenco o sovražnem govoru. Na njej smo opozorili na nekaj pojavov, o katerih bi morali zelo resno razpravljati, če želimo nasloviti in zajeziti ta problem. Kakšna je vloga medijev, ki v zagotavljanju objektivnosti soočajo zagovornike človekovih pravic in rasiste? Ali je ali ni naloga medijev, da v javno razpravo ne spuščajo glasov sovraštva in nestrpnosti? Na levem polu smo bili v duhu zagovarjanja vrednot samo strpni do nestrpnih, v smislu, da smo jim z racionalnimi argumenti skušali pojasniti, zakaj so homofobni izpadi neprimerni. Sedaj pa desnica, ko gre seveda zanjo, zagovarja svobodo izražanja, ki si jo je prikrojila v duhu, da lahko kdorkoli govori kadarkoli, a zato ni kaznovan. Po drugi strani pa nasprotnike fizično kaznuje, kar smo videli na Madžarskem. Sovražni govor je danes organiziran in financiran, je voden in ima namen zasejati strah, spreti ljudi in si odpreti pot na oblast. Slovenska stranka opozicijska SDS je med zadnjo kampanjo za financiranje svojih oglasov dobila sredstva iz tujine, konkretno z Madžarske. Tako kot nacionalistične ideologije se tudi izlivanje sovražnih čustev in primitivnih besed v času krize ponuja kot pobeg. Predvsem ga izrabljajo ljudje, ki se počutijo socialno prikrajšane, skrbeti pa nas mora, da politiki, kot so Salvini, Orban, Janša, te ljudi izkoriščajo za svojo agendo. Avtorji sovražnega govora so se nekoč skrivali v anonimnosti, danes pa se razkrivajo in to predvsem zaradi politikov, ki jim dajejo podporo in podobo. Zato se zdi, kot da postaja sovražni govor nekaj zelo normalnega in zato njegova moč raste. Pa vendar, spoštovani kolegi, sovražni govor, nasilje, psihično ali fizično, ni in ne sme biti nekaj normalnega. Spodbujanje kakršnekoli sovražnosti, tako proti politikom, funkcionarjem ali drugim državljanom, je destruktivno in kontraproduktivno. Evropejci si tega ne zaslužimo, Evropa si tega ne zasluži. Zato vse, ki si od tega obetajo politično korist, opozarjam, da bo ta zelo kratkoročna in v imenu socialistov in demokratov pozivam, da vklopimo razum. Hvala lepa.
Dziękuję bardzo pani Fajon. W imieniu Europejskich Konserwatystów Reformowanych pan przewodniczący Ryszard Legutko. Bardzo proszę.
Thank you, Mr. President, Commissioner. I must say I would be rather cautious about regulating this so-called hate speech problem and what you called political climate. It's a very elusive, vague term, and it's usually used by politicians against their enemies. It is always them that are hateful creatures. It is always our opponents. They are bad people. You had a very good example. You had two interventions before mine, and in each of them, it was them, you know. It's never us. Even in this chamber, this is a highly partisan and highly political institution. Whenever we hear an offensive language, and we hear this offensive language quite often, when somebody from this part of the chamber said something offensive, insulting, he's usually punished or reprimanded. When somebody from that part of the chamber said something awful and disparaging, well, it's a free speech. So the problem is, of course, who defines the rules and who will execute those rules. If I think of those two interventions, and I say to myself, if this is the language of love and tolerance, we don't need hate and intolerance anymore. Let me state the facts. A couple of years ago, the mayor of Gdańsk was assassinated by a man about whom we know that he was a convicted criminal with a long psychiatric record. And immediately after the murder, the political opposition in Poland put the blame on the Polish government, on the public media, making something utterly non-political, a monstrous, horrendous act of murder, but absolutely non-political at all. They made a huge case against us. If you can think of the most immoral, vile, repellent, foul, wicked, disgraceful, outrageous example of political cynicism, that is it. You have it, and you heard it here. You heard about the media lynching the late president. Is that the language of love? Should it be punished, Commissioner? Or should the EPP, a colleague of mine, get away with it? And if I say that they lynch me, then probably the authorities would not be as tolerant. Never mind. So the problem is that even the tragic death does not prevent some of you from using this death to pursue political agenda. This is political cynicism incarnate. There are no inhibitions, no sense of shame. Really, when some years ago Mr. Schäuble was attacked by a lunatic, we didn't talk about political climate, and it was a good decision. When a couple of years ago a member of my party was killed and another gravely wounded by a completely sane man who wanted to kill the leader of my party, Jarosław Kaczyński, the reaction here was a sad reflection on human folly. Nobody talked about hatred or hate speech. I can't remember any reaction from the European Commission. You were not there, Commissioner, so that's against you. Probably they suffered from a sudden fit of aphasia. I won't exclude it. So I have lived long enough to see people fall and behave abominably. But in cases like this, I always say to myself, my God, is it really possible that people who could be called or considered civilized, is it really possible that they say such things and they can fall so low?
Dziękuję bardzo. W imieniu Partii Zielonych pani posłanka Ana Miranda, bardzo proszę.
En los últimos tiempos, las fuerzas extremistas han logrado introducir el discurso del odio en el debate político, que ataca la supervivencia de la democracia. Es un clima de odio prefascista que va de Francia a Hungría, de Polonia a Eslovaquia, de Italia al Estado español y que, como dice el comisario, no tiene fronteras políticas ni fronteras internacionales. Lo saben bien las diputadas Eleanora Forenza, Judith Sargentini, Jan Willis en Brasil o las asesinadas Jo Cox y Marielle Franco, entre otros muchos. Lo sabemos bien quienes defendemos la pluralidad desde opciones políticas democráticas y somos atacados en la calle o en las redes de comunicación día tras día. en el ejercicio de nuestro cargo público. También lo sabemos en este Parlamento Europeo, donde en la pasada sesión se hizo la siguiente afirmación: la parte izquierda de esta Cámara, o sea, nosotros, somos bazofia política, nos dijo un diputado del PP. Lo saben también los cargos electos insultados por palabras machistas, fascistas, intolerantes, con mensajes degradantes y que minusvaloran la tolerancia. Por eso, no podemos quedar de brazos cruzados mientras esto sucede y debemos exigir que nuestras ideas sean libres. Y en este Parlamento también debemos tener una responsabilidad enorme. No sirven ya declaraciones vacías, sino acciones para no callar delante del discurso del odio. Una cosa es la libertad de expresión, como dice el comisario, y otra es permitir en esta Cámara discursos que incitan a la violencia, como se escucha tantas veces en este Parlamento Europeo, en esa parte de la Cámara. Y sigan permitiendo estos discursos, que el resultado lo tendrán en las siguientes elecciones europeas. Gracias, presidente.
Dziękuję bardzo. W imieniu Konfederacyjnej Grupy Zjednoczonej Lewicy Nikos Stadinka Kunewa. Bardzo proszę.
Ευχαριστώ, Πρόεδρε. Τα συλληπιτήριά μου στην οικογένεια του Πάβελ Αντάμοβιτς, τον δήμαρχο του Γκτάνσκ, υπερασπιστή των ανοιχτών συνόρων για τους πρόσφυγες που δολοφονήθηκε κατά τη διάρκεια φιλανθρωπικής συναυλίας. Εχθροί της δημοκρατίας δεν υπάρχουν μόνο στην Πολωνία. Παρακολουθήσατε τις συνθήκες στις οποίες ψηφίστηκε στην Ελλάδα η Συμφωνία των Πρεσπών. Γνωρίζετε ότι ενώ αυτή τη συμφωνία χαιρέτησαν όλες οι πολιτικές ομάδες στην Ευρώπη, οι βουλευτές που την υποστήριξαν κατηγορήθηκαν από κάποιους ως προδότες. Κολλήθηκαν αφίσες με τα πρόσωπά τους. Επιθέσεις από κουκολοφόρους με πέτρες και μολότοφ στα σπίτια τους και μέσα τα παιδιά τους. Αυτοί που οργάνωσαν την επίθεση ενάντια στους εκλεγμένους βουλευτές ήταν ακροδεξιοί και ακραίοι εθνικιστές. Η πολιτική του μίσους και της τρομοκρατίας